and clear at the moment. You guys can see my screen as well. We can give me a second. Let me make sure that I've got my platform up and running. All right, guys, how are you guys doing? Just to check, quick check, you guys can see my screen as well as hear me loud and clear, correct? Let me just make sure that I record. Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, guys, let's get on with it. So a lot of, yes, all clear. Thank you, Sugu. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, so let us get on with it. I remember we have got quite a number of trade ideas, and looking at trade ideas as well. There are some requests on looking at Euro USD, GBP crosses, AUD crosses. We'll get to that as well. But most importantly is a subject or topic of today's webinar is the second part of the three-part psychological numbers. Okay, so we want to keep practicing with the psychological numbers to understand how to actually use them, how to actually enter and exit the market using psychological numbers. Okay, so a little bit of test to you guys, especially in looking at the price for GBP USD at the moment. Okay, we are on the 4-hour chart. I see that trend-wise, it's got more movement to the downside, possibly more downside movement expected. But the price at the moment is 1.2488. Okay, so let me just type that one out. The current price, let's say we take the example of GBP USD today, moving at, let's say the price is approximately trading at 1.2489, let's say, or 88. Okay, we'll keep it at 88, right? And I want you guys to tell me best possible selling price if you were to monitor the price at this moment of time at 1.2488. Look at 88, and let's say you are in the process of wanting to place an order and you want to sell. Obviously, it's not a good price to sell at 1.2488. Where would it be better to sell the GBP USD in accordance to the psychological numbers? Brilliant. I think you all got the idea already. Really good. So it was because it is closest to 2480, correct? So 80 you cannot sell. You need to sell under 80 by 10 pips. So 80 minus 10 is 70. So that's well done, Ashwath. Thank you. So this is where it would probably be a better price for you to sell. Okay, if you were to buy, for example, then you would buy at, you want to try that as well, Ashwath. If it were to be an uptrend and you want to buy and the price is at 1.2488 and you want to buy, what would your buying price be, or a better price to buy? Brilliant. Okay, you scored 100%, Ashwath. Thank you very much. Good. So it looks like you got the idea. So this is applicable only to currency pairs, and this is basically it's going to save your trading a lot more from the risk of entering at a very risky level or support resistant level, and you want to buy and sell, I would say, on a better price. Okay, so this is basically the most important thing about tweaking any price you see based on psychological numbers. So you can actually easily apply this in any strategies as well. Like, for example, give you another example, right? We want to combine a little bit of the use of pattern, let's say. Okay, let's say we have got a pattern from here. This is A to B, let's say. Okay, and A to B, when I look at the C point, just to make sure the potential C point needs to be a minimum of 38.2%, and it has surpassed 50%, which is okay, which is good. So it's quite a valid pattern to actually carry on in analyzing it further. So we have got A to B and then B to C like this. Okay, let's say B to C. Now I would like to forecast on where it could actually go lower till which level, and where is your target profit, let's say your take profit area. Okay, so we have got, let's say we are using the pattern technique. to predict where GBP USD could potentially fall. But then before that, we need to convert this ABCD pattern into a geometric pattern. We'll do another webinar specifically on the basics of the pattern again, but then we want to combine it with other elements like psychological numbers, support resistance, and everything else. So we'll have one more next week to go over a patterns, what do you call that, the basics of geometric patterns. And then we want to add on the geometric pattern with what we have taught with support resistance levels as well as the psychological numbers. And then we keep adding on other areas, other elements, other topics as well to make that technique or approach to be very sharp. Okay, sharper and sharper. Okay, so sharper in terms of your prediction. Now here, for example, we are expecting that that's your C point there, falling down to the D point, correct? So in geometric trading, we usually look at the centroid area here as a potential area, potential only, not exactly you need to enter there, potential area of 1.2440, let's say 1.2441. Now, coincidentally, the price is quite good because this would be the price that I would have sold excuse me, what at 1.2440. Okay, so based on the pattern here, I would be looking at selling either at the centroid, or for those who are more conservative and they can wait longer and all that, you can also sell, you can have a second sell at this area here as well. So the one on the centroid, it's quite good. The price is already settled for you. It looks like you it looks as though you have converted the numbers, the price based on psychological numbers. Okay, so it's at 1.2440 already anyway. So you can sell GBP USD based on the centroid, or you can sell it under the B point. Now, under the B point, the B point itself is roughly at 2343, let's say. Okay, so again, it would be better to sell at 1.2340 because it's 10 pips under the 50 psychological level. Okay, so here you have got 2 points of entry when you are trading based on patterns. Okay, so you can trade on the pattern, based on the pattern, but you can enter, first option is through the centroid area right here, or secondly, if you are more conservative, you want to wait till the price goes down lower, you can also enter there. But you can also do both. That means you've got your first entry, then you want to take profit at this area here where you could enter for the second time. Then you second time you enter, then you are looking at more bearish, what do you call that, movement to the downside. So how do you actually decide on the take profit, right? Remember, we talked about one of the easiest way is to actually look at the level that you entered, whether or not in the past you have got a very big long either bullish or bearish candle. Okay, so in this case, because it's a sell and you want to sell at around this area, let's say you want to sell at 2440, just as an example. Let me just change that color of the centroid perhaps to red, let's say. Okay, so I've got the red line here reflects your entry price. So how far that power of selling can be could be based on a single bearish candle. So look at the red line, and we scroll to the left and we want to look for bearish single mother candles like this one here. We've got a mother candles here, a mother candle here, 1.2440, and then we look at the end of the candle would give us about 100 points, 100 pips. Now it doesn't look like that, but then this is quite this is reasonably a long bearish mother candle. So you know that you've got some power here, okay, because it was the red line was actually on a bearish candle, bearish mother candle, single bearish mother candle as well. So you know you've got some selling power there. This is one way for you to actually measure whether or not we have some momentum, or could we possibly have some momentum. This is very important. Okay, so here we have got the bearish candle right there. Okay, so I just want to mark that just to show you that you've got a potential right there for a selling at 1.2440. You can actually take profit at 1.2360. Okay, so let me get rid of that purple line, these two purple lines for the time being, and I just want to look at selling opportunity for GBP USD at a lower price as well. I know some of you guys, including myself, have actually entered earlier as well. No, it shouldn't be. It should be building up in strength in terms of the momentum to the downside. So we just want to get more. We just would like to see more catalyst, more reason on the fundamental side for the GBP to actually drop much more. Okay, all right. So 1.2360. Yeah, so for those who haven't entered or would like to consider a second entry on a sell, you can do a pending order at 1.2440. That would be your second entry for the GBP, because some of you guys are already riding the GBP USD at the moment, maybe floating a little bit, but then we are looking at more what do you call that, trend to the downside in terms of momentum by the sellers. Okay, so 2440 is where you can actually sell a new selling idea as well. You can do that on a pending order 1.2440, and then you could take profit at 1.2360. Okay, so that itself gives us a quite good number of pips as well. Usually I try to analyze it deeper to look at price action on the left. Here itself is about 84 pips. So 84 pips, meaning your stop loss will also be from the point of entry to the to an 84 pips up from the point of entry. Basically here, go up to about 84. Let's see. Okay, roughly 25. Okay, it shows here 2524 or something like that. So 2525, let's say, is your take profit. So you can easily sorry, your stop loss, your take profit is down there at 2360. Okay, so you want to equalize it. Okay, you just want to equalize your number of pips potential profit. You equalize that to probable stop loss level as well, or loss level. Okay, so there you go. The other way that you can actually do in terms of stop loss is to pull your Fibonacci from A to B and look at 67%. We'll cover that in the Fibonacci topic as well. Okay, so don't worry. So I've got my 67 right there. So 67% of A to B gives me 2572 roughly. Okay, so that would give me a quite close to 1-to-1 ratio as well for GBP USD. So we still have got loads of areas to look at, but now what I would like to do is to combine a little bit of price action of the past. I want us to be really clear in understanding. Let me just, I'll leave that one there, but I just want us to look at the current price now. It is also very important to look at the current price, and you want to look to the left. Now let's follow the current price to the left, and I want to look into I want to highlight some things, and I want you guys to actually get used to looking for certain things in terms of price action. Okay, especially very, very significant support and resistance. Now here, for example, we have got a bit of resistance here, correct? And we have got, when you see resistance level or support level, one of the things to look at is sideways candles as well before it goes up and goes down. So we've got sideways candles here before it actually went down. This is actually quite good to consider as your resistance level when you have many candles here. The more the candles sideways before it falls or rise is very good for you to do a support resistance based on there. So here, for example, the highest body is there, and then the highest wick out of all these wicks here is roughly there. Okay, so here, there you go. So now we know that the price at this moment of time is also trapped between the 1.2502, which is 2500 psychological number, and 2488, which is 2480 psychological number. Okay, so I will just adjust it like this, and I'll just put it as 2480. Okay, excuse me. And then we have got 25. Let's say if you don't want it to be 2502, you can put it a bit higher at 2520 as well. Okay, so we've got 2520. Let's say, okay, 2520. We've got it slightly higher. Perhaps it's too high. So what we'll do is we'll just bring it back to reflect that price there, and we'll get rid of all these lines here. Okay, and let's look at that itself. These two lines here, based on this area right here, given us two lines as your possible resistance. Is it a strong resistance? Let us look at the number of pips that it has actually fallen from there all the way down to this area here. It's close to about 300. It's about 300 pips. Okay, down. So that was quite a significant move as well. So let us just continue to actually look at behavior of prices. Now here, for example, this is quite interesting. We have got the two lines that we've drawn also indicated some resistant area in the past as well. But this resistant area, if I'm not mistaken, is much bigger. From the current price now all the way down here, that gives us about 480 pips. So that is definitely more significant. But again, it is within the same area. Okay, so it's quite good to maintain this resistant area. That means now the price is tracked between 2503 and 1.2480. Okay, so if we want further fall, it's probably best to expect more movement to the downside, but most importantly, another 16, 70 to 20 pips more. If it comes down a bit more, it probably will be better. So your 1.2470 is definitely a better selling type price for GBP USD, but also it's giving us an idea that we have got resistance and quite significant resistance at that area. So we need price to be under this red line, under these red lines. So 1.2470, as soon as it breaks out, would probably be good, ideal. But this is if you are doing a pending order already. What could most likely happen is price actually do this, come down, go back up here, and then only then come downwards. Okay, so it's probably best for us to wait till it come down and make a reversal, but not many people can actually wait or want to wait in front of the screen. So it doesn't really matter. You just have to leave it and see what pans out. But the most important is that you want to sell at 2470, and then you take profit. Take profit would be around there. We want to look at take profit area as well. That points out to 2193. So 2210 would be better, an ideal price for you to take profit if you're looking and aiming at the whole thing here. But of course, it is wise for us to also aim, it's not aim, but look at this area, the B point area, and look at what's the price. The price is at 2339, which is again 2340 area, which is very good. So 2340 can be your second sell for GBP USD. Okay, but let's continue to explore a little bit. We've also got a bit of a support area above the 2500 area. Okay, and we've just got lots of resistance at this area here, so it does actually give us a bit of a hint that that area was drawn quite nicely. It does encapsulate or capture price quite sensitively as well. That's good. So we've also got some support there. We've got a big support, actually. It has actually gone up quite a bit, and we've got that supporting candle too. So you've got an upward break area, but you've also got downward momentum. But the thing is that which one do we actually choose? We choose the ones that is reflecting the trend. Okay, so the trend is the most important thing. So then we're able to make a better decision. Okay, give me a second, guys. It's a very interesting area, just based on the two red lines that I've drawn is giving us a lot of support, a lot of resistance as well. So in terms of trend, we are looking at we need prices to give us more hint what the trend is. At this moment of time, we are looking at a bit of uncertainty. Almost anything can actually happen, whether break out of price from the range to the upside or downside. So it is quite risky at this moment of time. But in terms of trend, let's say on the 1 hour chart for GBP USD, it is definitely, excuse me, building up the momentum on the upside, and then the 4 hour chart as well is showing the same thing. So there's no surprise to look at GBP USD appreciating upwards, but there is definitely a nice resistant area right here at the 2528 area. So if, for example, price were to go up and up and up, and then it starts to reverse at 2520 area, is a good sign, especially if it is actually coming downward. So if it has found more momentum to reverse at the 2530-ish area, it's quite good because it's very close to the 2520s area. So that is the window of where reversal can actually happen. Okay, so there you go. Any questions, you guys? You guys are okay so far? No questions. So on the 4 hour chart itself, it does actually show that movement right there. A bit of a bullish type momentum. We don't know that yet. So it is very important for us to sit and wait, watch as well, have some pending order on GBP USD. But we want to know how to manage these pending orders if it hit the stop loss. Okay, the very important thing. So here, or maybe if it is floating as well, do we actually continue to leave it, or is it better to cut loss early? Of course, to cut loss early is better option, but only if you have a good strategy as well, because you need a good strategy to be able to rely on more winning trades as opposed to losing trades. If you have out of 10, 3 usually on average gets hits the SL, but then you've got remaining 7 or so that actually hits the TP, then you've got about 70%. Okay, but this has to be calculated properly for you to look at many pairs, as many pairs as possible, and then look at the percentage of win to lose. Okay, right. Okay, so now any questions, guys? You guys are okay so far? All good? No questions on your current trading at all? Any questions on your current trading, so we can actually share with the rest as well as go onto the charts and chart. Okay, no questions? All right. So we have had some movement to the upside for gold. So I would like to look at gold a little bit for you guys as well. And this is a nice classic example of the trend being clear to the upside. Why? Because look at the lines, especially the three blue lines are just very nicely and smoothly trading to the upside, pointing to the sky. This is one criteria. Also, the three lines, especially the blue ones, we ignore the red and the yellow ones. And especially if these three lines don't touch one another, that means it's giving us a clear signal to the upside. And now we can see that all these candles are quite, current price are quite far away to the upside in relation to the three lines right there. Okay, so we do actually have a very good indication on the 4 hour chart, but what about the 1 hour chart? We haven't actually checked. So far, it's the same thing on the 1 hour chart as well. Just loads and loads of movement that has been pumped in for some reason for the GBP to actually move to the upside. But when we talk about moving to the upside, it does not mean a change of trend. It could easily be a bit of a correction. Okay, so if it does actually have correction, of course, it's probably the best, because when it corrects itself and then come down, you've got a better movement. You know, when somebody goes on holiday, they bring souvenirs or they buy things, and that is probably a better reflection of a holiday, because you've got souvenirs, for example, and you most probably will have a heavier bag coming back than a bag going to the destination, correct? So it's the same thing with trading as well, whereby, you know, you are looking at more momentum after it has actually gone back. So if it comes downwards and it breaks out of a range and then it comes back again to the point, then only it starts to sell. Usually you will expect a better fall, and the speed of the falling as well will probably be faster after it has made a correction and then come down, not come down all the way. Okay, so this is very important. So here, for example, if I were to scroll, excuse me, scroll to the left, you can see that I just want to monitor the current price as well. Give me a second. Okay, maybe go on to the 4-hour or daily chart. All right, now here on the daily chart itself, I can see that we have got a very big fall from that area right there. Now, just from the falling area, let's just do it a bit, all the way down here. Now, that is no small amount of pips. That's about 7,000 plus pips, but that's based on the daily chart. So 7,000 plus pips to the downside makes this area here very, very significant and very, very strong as a resistant area right there. Okay, so we want to respect it, and we want to draw the resistant area. The highest body there reflects straight away on the rest as well, which is a very good thing. And then we have got the wick area there. Okay, so we've got the wick area there, and we've also got the body area. So what this means is that most likely, if the GBP USD were to go up, let's say, it may actually go up and flirt with these two lines here, but it does not mean anything. Okay, so here it goes upwards, it goes up to this here is gold. Sorry, I think I made a mistake. So 1788, we're looking at gold anyway at the moment. Okay, so 1788, we don't use the psychological number so much for gold. Gold, it's purely price action as well as pattern. We have got a sort of pattern here, for example, and then the C goes there. So A to B, okay, you can use that as well. There's no harm to actually use the wick, but it's best probably the wick and the wick. Okay, so as you can see, you know, the wick was exactly at the D point here, forecasted as well. Okay. So the ABCD pattern shouldn't actually be a primary pattern, and you stick to it and rely on it for a life and all that kind of thing. You can always keep that, have that with you, the skills and knowledge of geometric patterns, but then you want other sort of technique and methodology as well to sharpen your analysis. The most important thing is that you need to see yourself as market analysis. You are technical analysis actually, because you are doing more of technical oriented analysis, and it's good for you to pay attention to your price action as well. Okay, in addition, so far, any questions, guys? You guys are okay? You guys been quite quiet. All right, I just want to monitor the current price at the moment for GBP USD. So I'm following. I'm looking at. I'll stop scrolling. I mean, looking to the left once I found the current price again. Okay, so then I can get an idea. Okay, it does not really show the current price, so that means it's really far away from the current price. Okay, there's lots of resistance as well there. We've also got potential ABCD to the downside, but at this moment of time with sorry, the upside, the ABCD that is going on to the upside does give us, you know, quite a bit of hint that gold is now expected to go at 1,800 per ounce. Okay, so now it's at 1,767. So 1,800. It does actually have got the potential to reach that area. So, but we want to really look at whether or not in the past we have had a bullish single mother candle. So let's look at this on the daily chart. Let's say daily or 4 hour will probably be best. So you want to follow that price and go to the left. Maybe I'll do it shortcut just to, yeah. What I want to look for is single bullish mother candle to look at whether or not it's got some power to the buy. Power to buy, okay? It's only power to sell that I can see, but I would like to look at whether there's power to buy from now on, let's say. Okay. All right, it's not going back so much, so we are concentrating on these areas here. All we know as well is if, for example, you're looking at at least minimum three touch points here as resistance, and then you've got a fourth one right here as well. This does actually show us that these level here at 1794.96 is really very important as a resistant area. So even though you see, for example, a single bullish candle going up, it's probably best for you to look at the price, look to the left as well, and you want to look at how has it actually moved respective of the time before. Okay, how did it actually move before? Was it actually motivated by a single bullish or bearish candle? All these things. But now we know that you know, we don't really have a lot of momentum power, single bullish candle for the gold at this moment of time. That's why it's just making a very, very slow retreat to the upside and a very slow movement of gold at the moment versus the dollar. Let me just take a look at the current level right here. Okay. If you see that bearish candle right there, it looks quite close to what's going on here as well. Probably similar length as well, roughly. Yeah, it's very close to that length. So another thing we can do is to look at the current price now. And look at how price have actually moved based on what I've drawn right there. So as you can see, we have got from this point up, went down as well, and then up, and then down. After the down is up, and then for this one from this red line went up here, came down here, and I'm looking for all the zigzags. This one went up because after the downward move, this one's supposed to go up. Okay, it didn't happen. And we want to look at upward movement. There's one here, and then now it's got another down. That's good. We've also got down this one here. It's a down from that two line there down to the single line. Same thing. Okay. So let's look at a little bit of pattern as well. That's not ideal to be my A point. It's probably lower would be better here. Okay. That's really good. So we have got okay. Definitely, we've got lots of momentum to the upside for gold at this moment of time, but only because we have got loads of cases of corona in Texas now, so it is posing a threat to the dollar. So when you've got a pose of threat to the dollar, then you have got appreciative value for gold. Okay. All right, guys. Any questions at all? Let's build up the sharing of questions, especially with what you guys are trading, so that we can actually then pick it up and look at what I can actually share based on these pairs that you have shared with me. Okay. So, all right, we'll look at gold already a little bit. GBP/USD, yes. Euro USD, let's look at the price right now. 1.127, okay, 1270. I'm not sure, but earlier on, I think we have looked at that's on the 4-hour chart, on the 1-hour chart. There you go. All right, so we do have a bit of a resistance there, as you can see, that resistance. It has actually broken out of that resistance area to come down even more, but then it also have a reverse, which is a very good thing. So once you have actually reverse, then we want the next candle to also be a bearish type candle, and then you can attack the market that way and look at more selling opportunity to the downside. Okay, so gold, for example, that is the resistance area. Okay, if we are looking at it as a resistance area, it's quite good. Price has already begun to come down, but it went upwards again. So remember yesterday we talked a little bit about how important it is for price to drop, come out of a range, but then come back to the area where it has broken out and then coming down. So here it looks like this is what has actually happened for this pair, for the Euro USD. Okay, there you go. So we have more room to the downside. It's just picking up momentum. The only thing that worries me at this moment of time is for Euro USD, let's say, if it is going downwards, it might find support at either one of these three lines as well. So you got to be very careful with it. Let me just check something for you guys. I've just noticed something here. Okay, so in my opinion, there may be a bit of a, we call it a lazy Z type pattern here, okay, and that would be how it looks like all the way up, okay. So it's on the way down, but how far could it come down with if we were to be looking at sharp patterns, let me just show you, or lazy Z pattern more accurately. We are looking at the potential of 50% or of the length. So that means all the way down here. Okay. So if I take that length A to B and B to C here, it looks like it's really close to take profit areas as well for some traders. So here, for example, AB equals C to D, and I'm expecting it to bounce at the 1.1262 area, or you can put that at 65, and there may then be a possibility of prices rising upwards. That I wouldn't actually put a lot of attention to that. At least I know that, okay, this is a Z-like pattern. When it comes down to about 200%, usually, sorry, 50% for it to come down from C to D, and usually from here to here is about 200% of this AP. Okay, 200%. So we've got roughly at 200% here anyway. So hence the reason I think it is a good potential ABCD in accordance to a geometric Z pattern or lazy Z pattern. Okay, it's called lazy because it's slanting a little bit. Okay, so there you go. I am looking at the possibility of prices for Euro USD to come down to 1.1262 area before it proceeds to go upwards and make that correction. Okay, all right. That is for gold. Sorry, this is for Euro USD. I get mixed up with all the things I have here. That's not gold. So Euro USD, this is for you, Sugu, especially because you have asked me about Euro USD as well. So I'll just put Euro USD there. We start to monitor. So what usually happens in a lazy Z pattern is that the A to B length is similar with the C to D's length here. Okay. And the other thing as well is that once it goes upwards, we are trading from C to D, and usually to predict that is the distance between A and B. You want to copy paste that A to B and bring it here so that the end of the D, the end of the B area here, A to B, is similar to C to D, okay, in length. So that what I'm looking at happening is that this one goes here already, go up, come down a little bit to here, and then it starts to come up. Okay, that is for Euro USD. So here itself you have A, B, C, D as well. Okay, so let us just clear this one. If I were to take that and put it here, A to B, C to D around it earlier as well. Okay, all right, guys, you guys are okay so far? Yeah. We've got questions at last. Very good. Yes, we can, Alfred. Let's look at AUD first, and then we'll take it one at a time. That's GBP CAD you meant, this one here, right? So let's look at AUD Okay. Right. So let's discover the trend first. Let's see what is the trend at the moment for AUD We're looking at the 1 hour chart at this moment of time, but if you want to be really sharp onto the price, the first thing you can actually do is to line up your two lines, the two psychological levels. So 73.68 or 69, let's say, is really close to the upside to the 73.80 psychological number. So I'll just plot that one first, 73.80. Okay. And to the downside, it's really close to 73.50. Okay. So 73.50. There you go. Right. So once that is done, then we've got an idea of the location of the current price, which is trapped between two psychological number at 73.80 and 73.50. Correct? So now, for example, let us just analyze this a little bit more. We go onto the 4 hour chart. we can see that it is trapped, not only it's trapped between the two psychological numbers, but it's got a bit of a trapped trading situation where it is in between all the three lines. It shouldn't be in between the three lines, it should be either above the three lines or under the three lines. So now it is consolidating a little bit. Okay, so you can see that zigzag, zigzag, zigzag going on. So one of the ways as well to look at how it could potentially trade is to draw your triangle patterns as well. So here, if I'm looking at AUDJPY, I start from the top, draw that all the way down here. Let's say as many touches the better. We've got one here, two, we'll just bring this one down a little bit. 1, 2, 3, roughly. Okay, so there. That is a trend line to the upside, trend line from the downside area. Not really nice. Okay. That. So what we can then do is look at perhaps that doesn't even touch, but we've got this area here. What we can then do is just to minimize a little bit and grab a line that is starting from here all the way up. Okay, there you go. Mix that one up a little bit. Okay, now it looks a little better. Okay, so this is AUDJPY. Okay, so AUDJPY is trading there. Now, if you're expecting it to actually fall, then it has to fall under 73.50, giving you 73.40 as your psychological level. Okay, so now let us just look at hypothetically what can actually happen. Okay, so this is what could potentially happen is price is now in within this triangle type pattern here. So it has a likelihood of coming downwards, might break out that area, but go back upwards towards that area and then start falling. Okay, so that is a most likely scenario. It's the same if it goes upwards, perhaps break that trend line a little bit, come back down here and then to the upside. This is to the downside. Okay, does that make sense? So we do have two options of AUDJPY, but in terms of trend, because it's just not very clear in terms of trend as well. Give me a second. Okay, so here, for example, if we are looking at trend, let's just compare to the daily as well. Now the daily is definitely looking at more rise of price for AUDJPY. So AUDJPY is for the long term, okay? But if we go onto the 1 hour chart, we're looking at downward type movement with a 1 hour as well, and then you want to marry that with the 4 hour, becomes more unpredictable. So AUDJPY has turned into unpredictability at this moment of time. Okay, so it's not, things are not clear, and I try not to actually overanalyze and go into AUDJPY for now. Okay, because even the analysis needs clarity as well. Because if I visually cannot see really clear in terms of the trend, then I would leave it a little bit more time for it to marinate, because if not, we will it's like sticking your finger into a washing machine, spinning washing machine, if you are doing it right now. So AUDJPY, things are not clear. When I say things are not clear, I meant that the prices are in between all these three lines, and things are not clear also means that I'm not seeing candles above all the three lines and or under all the three lines. Then I will just leave it for a bit, and then we'll take it a little bit later, maybe another couple of hours time or so. Then we take a look at it again, whether or not it has gone under three lines or not. Okay, so this stage, perhaps we'll just leave it a little bit, and then we'll get to see GBP cat. Yeah, that's the one, GBP cat. Let's go to GBP cat as well. Okay, GBP cat. There you go. So let's look at what's going on GBP CAD. Okay, so current price at this moment of time 1.6936. Now the good thing about it is that I sort of spot for the GBP CAD a very nice candle, how you call that, pin bar pattern. Okay, you got a pin bar pattern here. That means it's signaling reversal, because if you've got a pin bar with a little body, a single candle that has a very small body but very long or longer wick, that actually then gives us the idea of not having enough strength to go up, because the wick is to the upside. So if the wick is longer to the upside, that means it doesn't have momentum to actually go up that much. Okay, so there may be, that's hence the reason it is reversing at the moment, the GBP cap. Now with the power of the candle, we want to look at the current price now, and you want to scroll and you can see, okay, yes, you have some selling power right here, from here right to the ending of the candle. That gives you about 48 points, 48 pips, sorry. So that's quite good. And then we want to scroll to the back a little bit more, and we want to see what's going on with selling type. There's some there, but earlier on it was quite good. We've got some support, so equivalently strong. So here, this is where I think we have got most selling power from here. Okay, so here, from here, opening of this mother candle, go downwards, you could actually look at least 96 pips at this area. So GBP CAD trading at 1.6936 or so. I think 1.69 10 would probably be better to look at it going downwards to the 1.6860 area. Okay, so I think 1.69, oh, 6940, you can actually sell just now as well for GBP CAD. What we want to do as well is to look at whether or not the current trend, which is to the downside, has got momentum. You can always go on to insert indicator and go on to oscillators here, and maybe not oscillators for now, because I usually look at stochastic as well. There's a little bit advanced here, so I don't want to complicate you. All right, let's just get rid of that. What we want to do is see this area here as a resistance. So once it has gone above this area, then we want to pay more attention. As of now, let us just wait and see. And I think it has potential to go down even more. 6860 will be your ideal take profit area. 6860. There you go. So selling now, if you were to be selling now, which is 6943 or so, still okay. And you're looking at 6860, that itself is about 80 pips, about 80 to 83 pips. So that's quite decent number of pips as well. Okay. GBP CAT. It's also got some, it's possible to draw a triangular as well. Okay, so that's going on with GBP CAT, and it's just showing us a bit more resistance. So we're waiting for the fall at the moment, and we want to monitor. We want to look at bearish candle to the downside. We found it earlier on. Let me just get rid of all these mess that we have here so that it's clearer. There you go. Okay. Just want to analyze this by looking at a single bearish candle. So we have, let us just look at the current price now and then go on to the rectangle thing here and look at the boxes. So we have one bearish single another candle that began from the top here and come down and ended at the ending of the candle right there, not the wick, the body. And you can see that this distance itself would give you about 55 sorry 50 about 55 pips also. Okay, so about 54 pips. So there you go. Here you have got a chance right there for the sell to take off just now, but then your it's probably best for you to look at 6890 instead of 6888 as your take profit. So it's quite significantly good area. I want to look at more selling opportunity. Maybe perhaps there are longer candles as well. We don't know that. We've got something here as well, but that's a clearer one there, so that's quite good. So what you can do is mark that area. That area as well. There we go. Let's see whether we've got more power. If it does have more power, single bearish candle at the current price is a very good sign. If you've got more and stronger ones, the better. Okay. Here, roughly, but not really attractive. We've got one here, definitely. That as well. That means from that upper red line to that lower line there as well. So if we were to zoom out, sorry. You could see all the blue area right there is where we've got significant areas. Significant levels. Okay, there you go, guys. So there you go, Alfred. If you're looking at this GBP CAD as well, it is on the way down most probably, but it needs to go under certain level. But it looks like it is in an area that it could actually fall to the 6890 area. Okay, so yeah, you can take advantage of that as well. As for GBP CAD, let's look at GBP AUD as well. We've seen GBP AUD earlier on. No, we have not. It was yesterday. Yeah. So yes, it's a good idea. GBP AUD. Okay. All right. So here, for example, with GBP AUD, if I'm looking at a glance on the 4-hour chart, it's good news. It's got more potential to the downside. Why? Because right now you see that we have got that pin candle there. It actually went up, touched that 50 exponential moving average, but it's got a little body and a long wick. So it's giving us some more hints that it is preferring to the downside. The market prefers to actually go downwards. So what is important though is to look to the left and see support areas like this one here. Okay, to just give you an indication that if it passes through and starts to go up instead and go above 1.8084 area, then it might want to consider buyers coming in. So then we want to be very careful. But here, it's giving me this indication that we've got more selling pressure for sure. I wouldn't say for sure. I would say that for sure, meaning in reflection to the candles that we are watching as well. Usually that is what happens. Here, for example, in the daily chart, As we look at the price, it's always good to see a single bearish or bullish candle working its way onto the current price, because this is a very good indication as well. Okay, I don't see anything right there. So in summary, Alfred, your GBP CAD, GBP AUD should actually look into more price falling under the 1.8080. So 1.8070 for the GBP AUD would be quite an ideal selling price right there. We've got all these buyers and all that. They're all floating around this area for support. So then it reflects to the other traders out there right now to look into buying as well. But then, of course, the trend overall is giving you selling pressure. It's probably best to look at more to the downside, and then you can actually reap the rewards from there. Yeah, it's rather complicated, this one GBP process. It's giving us good clear hint from before, but it's always important for us to monitor properly a given opportunity in the market, and then to really use price action. So at this moment of time, if I were to sell, I would place a pending order at 1.8070. Okay, because it's just too close to the 80 psychological level. So 1.8070 is my sell. I'll just plot one right there. Eight zero 70. Very close. It's probably already done that, so it's hinting you more movement to the downside. Okay. If you were to sell at 8070, we've got a bearish candle right here, which is quite a strong bearish candle. That landed at the closing of that candle was at 7939. Okay, so let's look at the number of pips right there. Oh, we've got significant 125, 130 pips at least, so that's quite good. So what you can actually do is to look into 8040 as your selling area. Okay, so 8040. It's 1.8040. That's where you can actually sell. Okay, 8040 is your ideal sell area, and I can't remember, we've got about, let's say you've got 50 pips or so downwards. Okay, so at this moment of time, it's just a little bit slow. We've got Canada as well, not that active at this moment of time in the markets. Okay, so it's totally opposite of our time here. So we have got this as one candle as well. So 80, 40, 79, 60 will probably be better to take profit. So you sell your GBP AUD at 8040, 1.8040. You could potentially take profit at 7960 would probably be better. 7960. Okay, we've got some distance here, some pips to make. So let's see. That alone is about 86 pips. So yes, you've got another potential for GBP AUD right there. But overall, GBP crosses is looking like it is actually to the downside. We've also got, let's just give it a bit of a check. Look into some fundamental factors as well, news and things like that. Okay, 335. Okay, we've got sentiment. The market is expecting more trades surrounding JPY, USD, AUD, and ZD as well. We're looking at JPY, USD supported. AUD and ZD remain pressured as well. So there's a lot of selling taking place with AUD and NZD, especially NZD. They've got the announcement yesterday about lowering rates and all that kind of thing. Okay, so AUD, USD is testing the 69 handle, it says, for the AUD USD. So AUD USD has got all the correlated pairs like the AUD JPY and the AUD, all the AUDs as well. So it is quite a good thing to understand correlation as well. And we will run a webinar on correlated pairs and how you trade the correlated pair, so that I can show you how you use the correlated table as well. Because some traders are wondering, how do you use certain correlated tables? If you guys have got any suggestion, suggestion meaning there are topics that you would like me to cover in particular, just let me know, and I will look at how we can add up the topic and make a customized sort of tutorial for you guys. Okay, so trade idea wise, we have got some trade ideas from the bank. They are going long on AUD USD, but this is a very short trade, so don't get overly excited and then go and buy your AUD USD at the moment. No, just as you can see, the entry here is 6920, the target here is 6950, so it's about 30 pips or so. Okay, but the thing that I would like to highlight to you guys is that if you look at trading signal outside, people are giving trading signal and everything else. Look at how they enter the market with 6920. Okay, so I wouldn't actually enter the market at 6920 because of the psychological levels. So even though if I get this signal, for example, from somewhere, I would prefer, if I were to buy, to use my my own technique and all that. But I would look at this price and not buy at 6920. We should buy at 6930. Okay, so I think Ashraf guessed that right. So okay, good. So there we go. We've also got, you see, coronavirus is still coming in strong, second wave, and in Texas we've got a lot of, because I sort of knew about the Texas figures of coronavirus from certain platform that I have when I do my research. A couple of days ago, maybe since Monday, Sunday night onwards, that I have read about it, and it's not in the news and all that. So then now it is just announced 3-4 days after about Texas building up cases of corona. So that is why it's pulling down the dollar at this moment of time. Okay, so dollar, it is actually depreciating quite a bit. Hence the reason we want to be sure. So it does not mean that USD goes really low and then the GBP USD will go up and all that kind of thing. It can and it cannot. So sometimes, even though the GBP USD, we are looking at a downward trend, and then we're looking at USD to the downside. So most importantly, most probably GBP is usually thought of going up, but it does not go up now so much. It's still actually going down. So usually on the technical side of it, it has priced in quite a lot of factor. That's why a lot of people would use more technical analysis, but it doesn't mean that you use technical analysis and you stick to only one strategy as well. This is also another mistake. So it's always good for you to be flexible, for you to also understand whatever that works, and you know how to combine them, and they work hand in hand, and it is for increasing the probability and reducing the risk, you can use them. So don't get caught up with one style, one methodology. Also, it is better to diversify your pairs that you trade. Okay, so try not limiting only to one type of currency pair as well, because it's going to it's not going to help you, but it's going to help you what do you call that, avoid opportunities. Okay, because you will have a lot of opportunities, and we want to actually trade pairs that the bigger boys are trading. We don't want to trade just for the sake of us liking a pair and then we trade that, because we might miss out opportunities, because the whole market is created by the big boys, not us. Okay, so if the big boys are creating opportunity for USD ZAR, then we should actually enter USD ZAR, for example. If they are, looking at loads of movement, let's say, for example, if we go up here, we go to Action Forex, let's say. Okay, now Action Forex itself and the heat map here, for example, is giving us a bit of a hint on the 4-hour chart, or let's say on the daily chart. We have got loads of blue, dark blue and all that here under NZD. What this means is that most of the pairs here are stronger than NZD. That actually means NZD is really weak. So if we go to NZD specifically, we can see that NZD is really very weak against the AUD, because you've got red and dark red. But if you've got a column that is a mixture of red, blue, dark red, and all too many colors, it's not really good. You want to look at a column that has got more one color but two tones. Let's say here it's one color red, but you've got dark red, you've got light red. Okay, so this one is all mixed red and blue and all that, red and blue again, red and blue again. It's not really nice. So the clearest one at the moment in terms of trend is the NZD versus the AUD, whereby NZD, if you pair it up with AUD, you are looking at more downward movement for NZD. So NZD is considered quite bearish compared to AUD. It is bearish on the 4-hour chart. It is weak against the AUD on the 4-hour chart, but it is very, very weak against the AUD in the daily and in the weekly chart. The D is for daily, W is for weekly, M is for monthly, H is for your hourly. Okay, so here, for example, these tools right here, if I go into the top movers, I just want to take a look what has actually been going on in the markets in terms of the pairs. On the 4-hour chart, let's say if I click on the 4H, which stands for 4-hour, I can see that a lot of concentration are on the CHF. Okay, CHF here, CHF here, CHF, CHF, CHF. Okay, but they are buying the CHF, not selling the CHF, majority of the traders. So we want to look at CHF pairs as well. Why are there a lot of interest with CHF crosses? Okay, when we go onto the daily chart, more on the long term, we can see that traders and investors are very interested in NZD. Why? Because you got NZD here, NZD again, NZD, 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 NZD again, and then you've got about 7 out of 10. So that's 70% of the market, roughly only, on the longer term, because it's daily chart, they are focusing on trading NZD crosses. But if you're looking at NZD for the long term, their interests are mostly with USD, CAD, and AUD, the top three. Okay, so but then in terms of clearer trend, I think the GBP NZD has got clearer trend because it's got 3 dots. The rest got only 2 dots, 1 dots, and all that, because the dots means that they are clear on the daily chart, on the weekly chart, on the monthly. But this is for the long term. A lot of traders are looking at a longer term buying of a GBP NZD. Here as well is showing buying here, so GBP NZD. So, but we need to analyze ourselves as well. We use all these to pick the pair that may give us opportunities to trade them. Now, if I go on to the action bias, also like a heat map, I just want to look at the trend as well here. Now, here I don't see a minimum of. I like to see all the most of the time frames, especially 3 consecutive time frames has to be the same color. So here, for example, you only have 2. AUD, NZD, AUD, NZD is on the upside. So it is actually confirming that AUD, most people, most traders, investors are buying the AUD and they're selling the NZD. So NZD may be a good potential for us to look at. NZD crosses as well. Yeah. So all the NZD crosses, let's say GBP NZD right here. So GBP NZD, because NZD is to the downside. So here for GBP NZD, we want to be very, very careful. It looks like it is having this area that we talked about just now. What do you call that? A pin bar. So this is giving us hint that market would fall. So here is a bit risky because NZD fundamentally, NZD is said to be weak. And then we are looking at technically GBP also weak. So if both currencies are weak, let's say GBP is weak, NZD is weak, I rather not pick a pair that both are in the same direction. I prefer to pick a pair that has one currency stronger or one currency weaker than the other. Okay, so that you can then have that balanced approach. If not, we will be at a limbo, not really sure what is going on. That is why sometimes the market itself for this kind of pair whereby the GBP, let's say GBP and ZD, both are, not very clear which one is stronger or which one's weaker. And hence the reason we're seeing a very slow, tight movement as well. And it's not probably the best pair to actually pick. Okay, so of course we will be picking pairs correctly. I'll be guiding you guys in picking pairs. Okay, guys, any questions at all for now? All good so far? JPY, it is still to the downside. Yeah, 13170 basically, but now it's already at 133. So it's very far away. I'm not looking at it at this moment of time. This is AUD JPY. We've said it already earlier on. So I'm looking at a breakout of AUD JPY. Once it has broken out, then look at how it returned as well, so that we get a better idea of the trend and how it is actually wanting us to trade it to gain maximum benefit. Okay. All right, guys. I think that's all the time I have for you guys. Any questions at all? Anything that's not really certain, sure? What are your take on the market at the moment? Anything, just send me questions on Telegram as well, directly or in the group. It does not matter. Just get in touch with me for any questions you have with the market. So let's look at how tomorrow, Thursday, usually we have got pairs like Euro JPY, GBP JPY, GBP AUD, AUD JPY, all these crosses that are exotic as well. They tend to have very high average movement per pip. So let's look at all these pairs tomorrow, including the GBPs that we have looked at as well tomorrow. But I'll keep you guys informed with what's going on the fundamental side, because at this moment of time, I'm monitoring what's going on with the corona as well, and looking at what may actually be the US side of it. How would it actually be trading at this moment of time? Okay, so they are looking into some export figures, tariffs, policies. They are all, the Brexit situations coming back as well. So let's look at that, and sometime it could be fuel for pushing the market down or up. And if we are at the right track, we should be able to make money, okay, consistently. So yes, that's it. Okay, guys, with that, I want to thank you guys. If there's no questions, but please do, message me and ask me questions on Telegram. Okay, so have a very good night. Thank you for attending, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow is Thursday. I only will have one, webinar as usual every day for you guys. So for those of you guys who haven't got the link and all that, just go to the Errante website. On the Errante website itself, under Education Center, you just click onto webinars and you just click it there. Okay. All right, guys. Good night, guys. Have a good night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.